I'm tending to think of it more in terms of really an alien invasion. That like somebody coming and telling us that, you know, there is a fleet, an alien fleet of spaceships coming from planet Zircon or whatever, with highly intelligent beings. They'll be here in 5 years and take over the planet. Maybe they'll be nice. Maybe they'll solve cancer and climate change, but we are not sure. This is what we are facing, except that the aliens are not coming in spaceships from planet Zircon. They're coming from the laboratory.
The United States. So I received this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready. Now just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030, and boy, you better be ready because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world. AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, you know, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware, because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
Nothing goes straight up, straight to the heavens. You still think China is viable at this point?
Not only do I think it, but our AI committee also thinks it. So obviously when we launched that ETF, LIVR, China was one of the key holdings that AI wanted to have in the portfolio. And we had about 15% or so exposure to China. We had a great run after the stimulus announcement, and now we've had this pullback kind of 10% after a 40% run. We asked AI, what do you think from here? And AI said, we think there's another 10 to 15% upside.
You guarantee me this is not GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. You have, who developed this? Why do we think that it's still not a reflection of the person that wrote the, whatever it is that's generating the conclusions from the AI?
So we use the leading large language models in the world. We use GPT, we use Gemini, we use Claude. There's certain information and certain sort of prompts and instructions that we give those models. We try to keep them as unbiased as possible. And we get those models then to give us responses. So I think we've, as humans still interacting with the models, we've tried to do our job, which is prevent garbage from going in so that we don't get garbage out.
What data are you providing it, though?
We provided various data. Some of it's economic data, broadly available. Some of it is earnings data, historicals from companies. And then we also use the models to actually make projections like analysts, like humans might do, and say, what do you think is going to happen in the future? We use that as an input as well.
Doug, do you correct just, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you correct just the stuff going in, or do you correct some of it coming out and say, we believe this part of it, but not this part, too?
We try not to do the latter, because I think the superpower of AI is really avoiding human bias. And if we start making our own judgments on what AI is saying, then it's more human-augmented analysis rather than AI-powered analysis.
I want to go to what it's training on. So you're effectively providing it how much data? On a relative basis to, obviously, the public stuff it's trained on online.
It's hard to quantify. I mean, you can think of it as, depending on what the use case is. So let's say we're evaluating a set of large cap US stocks. We'd have 500 stocks, and we might have several hundred rows of different data, if you think about it like a spreadsheet. So it's a significant amount of data. It's probably not as much data as traditional machine learning model approaches might use, but we're trying to also pull in the intelligence, the base intelligence of these large language models as well with that data.
No, but so you're taking all the earnings reports for the last, how long?
Oh, earnings reports?
Let's say you're doing earnings reports. So let's talk about, I'm curious sort of how you're, I mean, I think there's a lot of folks who are trying to figure out how to use AI in the way you are. So that's what I'm trying to understand, what you're doing.
Yeah, we might go back several years. I would put it that way. I want to give away all the secret sauce, but it's several years of data of those earnings reports and those historical estimates, and then we would pull in consensus forward estimates as well.
Would you put in analyst reports?
We've experimented with that. We don't currently do that, but that's something I think in the future we'd like to use more. And something else we'd like to do in the future is also have these models talk to human experts, do channel checks.
Would you put transcripts from interviews or from conference calls?
We do use those. We use transcripts. We use, TV appearances even from CEOs of companies.
Would you use the analyst calls as a contrary or a coincident? Seriously?
Yeah. It might depend on the analyst, and it might depend on how the AI perceives.
I don't think it depends on the
analyst. How the AI perceives how great that analyst has been in the past.
Do you what would AI say about interest rates in the Fed right now? Are they on the right track? I would trust AI, I think, more than someone flying by the seat of their pants. I just think looking ahead, I don't think the Fed's very good at anticipating things. I think they're more reactive, and it's gotten them into trouble in the past. I don't know if they're getting in more trouble right now or not. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But we're initially in this mess from staying at zero for too long. And any AI program would have said, get the hell off the snide. Yeah, right?
Well, Becky, I think, mentioned to Steve in the last segment, could the Fed pause here? And AI, we do ask them about macro factors.
They say pause?
AI thinks there's a greater chance of pausing than I think the market thinks.
Really?
Right,
okay, that's interesting. That's something we can actually come and check in the next 6 weeks.
What's core? As of yesterday, what was core CPI? Still above 3, wasn't it?
It was 2.9% year over year, I think.
Was it?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the number.
It's not. So that would be 50% too high from what they want.
Right.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And we have Yuval repeating exactly what Jordy Rose stated. You can't make this stuff up. They don't have to be in the same room because they have the same goal. But Yuval and Jordy Rhodes are explaining the power of AI. Remember, guys, this is a plan and moves in phases. They're going to bring you the basics first and just keep building up every single year. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Doug Clinton from Intelligence Alpha speaking on AI making decisions on the markets. But guys, don't forget, BlackRock has been using Aladdin. Aladdin took over the globe. So this is nothing new. Remember, once they're done with the technology, then they hand it over to the sheep. If you run millions and millions of simulations, you're going to be able to see into the future. But when it comes to the markets, they're rigged anyway. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the Birdman making a comeback. And I'm not going to speak on it, but how did cows just end up with the Birdman in California? And then California brings back mask mandate in parts of California and medical facilities. And guys, you know, on this channel, I don't do conspiracy theories. I bring it to you from the horse's mouth. This is from the CDC's website. And I told you the movies are about to be stepped up. Because remember, guys, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Coming back to several Bay Area counties, health officials have issued orders requiring face masks to be worn in hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, and other healthcare facilities. This order goes into effect starting November 1 until either the end of March or April 2025. Now, the counties requiring masks right now are Alameda, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Napa County.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in an ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, if new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya save New York. From COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.